What is good, y'all? Today we have the Unsolved Mysteries Icebox. It's not jewelry. Iceberg explained. I used to see this nigga's TikToks. All of a sudden I'm on his YouTube. Hope y'all can't hear this game. Where do I know that? Y'all ain't gonna have a choice, but like, comment, subscribe. Me and my friends got a podcast. I'll leave that in the description below. Y'all got anything y'all want me to react to? Comment. Let's get into it. See what this nigga talking about.
Today, we are going to be talking
Hope ain't nothing
about
too
the
loud and
unsolved
nothing.
mysteries
Oh, happy
of
Thanksgiving
Iceberg.
too, y'all.
Now, if you didn't know what an iceberg
this gets
is,
posted
every
on
layer you
Thanksgiving.
go down, the darker the story gets. And because with the extent of the topics we're covering, it gets dark very fast. So do not watch if easily scared. And at the end, there's a huge plot twist. And I promise you, Squatski, you don't want to miss it.
You're not copyrighting me, buddy.
Iceberg. Ooh. Like usual, here are the best 5
T-Mobile?
comments from last video, and if you want to be in the next video, just comment on this video. And don't forget to join the best Discord on YouTube, where you'll get all sorts of updates on my channel, meet a bunch of new people, cool people, and just be a part of the Squatski. And with that being said, sit back, get on your thinking caps, and enjoy the video. Now, usually, if you guys know my icebergs, the first layer is always supposed to be filled with all like these sunshines and rainbows and just all this fun stuff. But not this iceberg. It gets dark right away. And I know you, Squatski, I know you like that dark shit. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. On February 14th, 1929, which is obviously Valentine's Day, and that's the name. You guys get the gist of it. 7 men were gathered in a parking garage in Lincoln Park,
my shit tripping.
located in Chicago, Illinois. Were gathered in a parking garage in Lincoln
What's
Park,
going on?
located in Chicago, Illinois. Now, fun fact, I live very near this garage where these men were killed. Yep, gotta love Chicago. Never changes. Never changes. Now, from the security cameras, 2 of the men were wearing suits and ties, and 2 other men were impersonating police officers. Now, someone who lived nearby had called the cops because they heard the shooting from the garage. So the police arrived on scene and saw all 7 men dead, but one of them was still alive, barely clinging to life. Now check this out, right? One of the police officers asked the guy who shot them, and this dude goes, "No one shot me." And then he died. What? Yeah, I mean, I guess he's like valid and cool because he's not a snitch, but if this was me, I'm snitching on every single fucking body I see. Another person in fault was thought to be Al Capone. He was one of the biggest crime bosses not only in Chicago, but the whole world. Now, people thought it was Al Capone because all the men that were killed were part of Chicago's North Side gang. And the reason Al Capone wanted to kill them was because Al Capone was importing illegal whiskey, which we'll talk about later, and the boat that whiskey was on was hijacked and all the whiskey was gone. He thought they did it. Now, the thing I wanted to really talk about was, like, if you guys don't know your history, which I think is so crazy, there was this thing called, like, the alcohol prohibition, where all alcohol was...
Oh, what is it?
Drink in secret? I don't know, just a fun fact from MJ. So then, the investigation started. Al Capone was summoned to court. Now, I don't know why the court wants to make it so magical. You've been summoned to court! Like, it sounds like we're in Harry Potter or some bullshit. But it basically means, like, you have to go to court and you have no choice. Yep, no choice whatsoever. But you know who did have a choice? Capone did. And he said he was just too sick to go, so he just never ended up going. Then on February 22nd, the police got a call to a garage fire where inside that garage was a disassembled Cadillac that was all burnt and charred. The police ended up tracing the plates on the car.
God, what is that?
One person who led to another, who, like, someone didn't even exist. All in all, it just led to the police to nothing. Eventually, though, the cops did have a breakthrough in this case and found one of the supposed people that did this. And his name was Elmer Lewis. Guys, I did this part up. His name's not Elmer Lewis. It's actually Fred Burke. I read something completely wrong. Just wanted to let you guys know.
Oh, come on.
Fake police officers. He was a member of the gang called Egan's Rats. What a fucking ugly name for a gang. Like, imagine being like back in the day and you're joining a gang and your buddy's like, "Hey, bro, what gang are you part of?" "I'm part of, like, the mobsters." "Yeah, I'm part of the Egon Rats." That's cool, I guess. They don't even know if he did it because he was shot and killed. This case still remains unsolved. The other 3 people who lined these men up and killed them all. So the next thing we're going to be talking about isn't a killer, but a plane? Yep, it's a pretty interesting case. Just wait till you guys hear it. So on January 26th, 1972, Jet Yugoslavian Flight 367 blew up out of nowhere while on the way to Belgrade. The aircraft broke into 3 pieces and all 26 passengers died on the plane besides one person. Meet Vesna Volvic.
Nigga, I can't see. The stupid thing is on my screen.
Survivor. But check this out, right? This is so fucked up to me. So great for her for surviving the crash. She survived what no one else did. Like, that's fucking insane. But you know what us Americans did? We gave her the Guinness World Record for surviving the longest plane crash in like free fall without a parachute. She now holds that world record. What the f?
That's so childish.
Plane wreckage by a man named Bruno Hink, who was a medic during World War II and kept her alive. She was in a coma for over a month and was temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. Now, there's like a whole cause of the plane throwing up, but then there's also a pretty neat conspiracy of why the plane like burnt and exploded that's actually more believable than what the government said. So while the plane was in a layover in Copenhagen, Vesna said she saw everyone deboard, but there was this one very specific man that her and her crew members noticed that was very angry and annoyed. Now, she believes this man put a bomb in the luggage, and now the bomb that exploded from the plane was coming from the luggage bay, and they found out this man never reboarded the flight where he was supposed to go. He just never got on the plane after the layover. Now here's the tea and evidence for the conspiracy. There is a theory that the plane was shot down by the Czechoslovak air defenses. And here's why. People who saw the plane flying at a low altitude trying to land before the plane exploded said there was a second plane following them. Another person, a whistleblower, came out from the Air Force base and said that it was highly likely that they did accidentally shoot this plane down thinking it was an enemy plane. Now,
imagine
whoever was driving that plane, if this is true, was an idiot. How do you mistake an enemy jet for a commercial plane? And we may never know what happened.
Pissed.
But that's the whole reason it's an unsolved case. Now, this next one is known as the Craigslist Ripper. It's pretty short compared to all the other ones, but it's still pretty horrific and interesting that I wanted to add it in. So the Craigslist Ripper killed in between 10 and 16 people.
Oh my God,
most of the people that person killed were all sex workers who advertised themselves on Craigslist. So the first victims were found on December 11th, 2012. The police were searching for someone named Shannon Gilbert when they came across another body, then came across another body, then came across another body, and you guessed it, they came across again another body, all in one day, only 500 feet apart from each other. Holy shit. They found Mela Bartholomew, Maureen Brainard, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. It does not
stop
there. 1 month later, 3 more bodies were found. One of them being a fucking 3-year-old girl.
What
and a week after that, 2 more bodies were found. And one of those bodies was the mother of that 3-year-old. Yeah, holy fucking shit. And no killer was ever found. Now, I have a serious question for you guys, and this has to go back to the Zodiac killer too. Do you guys think these killers who are never found like watch their own documentaries and comment on them? Because the guy who was the supposed Zodiac killer, Gary Post, he literally would comment on the documentaries on the Zodiac, saying how shitty those documentaries were. Yeah. So what do you think these other people who get glorified in these documentaries think? The last thing on layer 1 is going to be the 2001 anthrax attacks. 1 week after 9/11, on November 18th, a bunch of letters containing anthrax, which is like a poison that like will just kill you, was sent to multiple people around the states. These letters killed 5 people and infected 17 more. Now, the investigation for this was pretty intense too. Over 9,000 people were interviewed and 6 continents were searched. Now, what I found weird and just stupid of the FBI and the CDC was they destroyed a large collection of anthrax samples, which could have helped them solve the case. You know, they were just like, yep, destroy it. I can only imagine how that conversation went. Yo, man, you should destroy the evidence. Yeah, man, full send it, bro. Destroys evidence. I was there. That's exactly how it went. Now, because it was shortly after 9/11, the government thought that Al-Qaeda did it, but the FBI's response was pretty funny, saying no one could just make this in some cave. Yeah, fuck you, Al-Qaeda, and fuck your resources, bitch. But one of the main suspects was Bruce Edwards Evans, who was one of the top biodefense researchers in the world, and he just randomly killed himself one day, right when the FBI was gonna question him? I wonder who did it. I mean, it's definitely him. Dude was like the main suspect, and then he just took his own life. So, yep. Oh, and to put more tea and evidence into this, he told his therapist that he was gonna poison his girlfriend if she like lost a soccer match. No, yeah, what the man, what in the Now it's on to layer 2. So layer 1 was already pretty dark, so if you couldn't handle that, stop being a bitch and handle this one. I'm just kidding. If you couldn't handle layer 1, I doubt you'll be able to handle any other layers. Especially this one. The Austin yogurt shop murders were so horrific that I'm not gonna get too in-depth into it, so if you really want to know what happened to these girls, I recommend doing some own research, but huge trigger warning and just stuff like that. In 1991, 4 girls were found murdered in a yogurt shop called I Can't Believe It's Yogurt. These girls were Eliza Thomas and Jennifer Harbison, who were both employees in the store, and Amy Ayers and Sarah Harbison, who were waiting for the 2 girls to get off work so they could both get rides home. So the store closed at around 10 p.m. and about a half an hour before close, things started to get pretty weird. First off, a man was talking to a customer and even asked a couple customers if they were cops. Well, it couldn't be more suspicious then, right? Then this man asked Elisa to use the bathroom, and then he just never came out of the bathroom. Then at around 10 p.m., Jennifer and Elisa were closing up the store. A couple who had just left before the store closing said 2 men were still in there sitting at a table, looking all weird and suspicious and acting very odd. One of them had lighter hair, was about 5'6", and in his late 20s or early 30s. The other man was described as like a bigger man, wearing a green coat and a black hat. 2 hours after the store closed at around midnight, a police patrolman was patrolling the area, and he saw the yogurt shop on fire and reported it. When responders came, they found the bodies of Jennifer, Sarah, Amy, and Elisa. Now again, the way they were killed was so fucking gruesome and just what these men did to these girls, so I'm not going to talk about it, but again, if you're interested, feel free to look it up. So the investigation started, and the police really had no leads until 8 years later. 4 people were arrested for this, all of them being...
Come on, bro. I was starting to get into it.
Get top-tier Fiverr freelance.
Fucking teenagers. What? A fucking 15-year-old was found in a mall with the same gun that was used to kill these girls, okay? And that was this known as Maurice Pierce. And then
hold on,
and they even confessed this known as Maurice gun that was used to kill these girls, okay? And that was this
come on
known as Maurice Pierce. And then 2 of his friends were picked up, and they even confessed that they did it. Now you would think like, oh, a confession? Well, we know who did it. Not according to our up legal system. Those 2 boys were Robert Springston and Michael Scott. No, not the guy from The Office. And yeah, they were released because lack of evidence, even though they confessed. How does that work? Yeah. Like, imagine like someone you know killed somebody and they confessed to it, but they still
y'all know why
the person did it, even though they confessed. So it was just like, yep, you're free to
just
go.
saying.
Gotta love our legal system, man. Now, before I even start this next one, I'm not even trying to make jokes about this, but who the fuck comes up with these killers' names? This serial killer's name is the Doodler. So, like, I guess you could, like, call these serial killers something scary so, like, people could get scared. But if I heard some dude calling himself the Doodler, it couldn't have been just, like, a little bit more scarier, like the pencil killer or something. So, the Doodler killed 16 men and assaulted 3 of those men being gay. And he was given the name the Doodler because he would draw his victims before he killed them. Now, the confirmed victims that he killed were Gerald Kavanaugh, Joseph Stevens, Klaus Christman, and Harold Goldberg. The suspect was described as a black man in between the age of 19 and 26. Now, the police kind of already knew the guy who did it, but because the remaining survivors didn't want to really speak out in court at the time, just because back in the day it was like frowned upon to be gay, they were scared, which I completely get. So no one ever testified against them, and this guy was never arrested or ever released to his name to the public, and he was set free. Now, the last layer we're gonna do in this video is layer 3. Now it gets intense, and at the end there's a huge plot twist, and I promise you, Squatski, you don't want to miss it. The first one we're going to be talking about is the tube sock killing. In December of 1985, Mike Reimer took his girlfriend Diana Robertson and their daughter Crystal out in the woods to look for a Christmas tree. Soon after this, about 2 hours later, Crystal was seen just roaming around the town by herself. The police were called, and all Crystal said was, "Mommy, is in the trees. Pause. That's gotta be the most fucking scariest and heart-dropping thing to ever hear a little kid to say. 2 months later, Diane's body was found, and she was stabbed over 17 times. I can't even imagine. And she had a tube sock wrapped around her neck, thus the name being the tube sock killer. But there was no sign of the boyfriend, Mike. And now listen to this crazy shit. More tea and evidence. Mike's truck was found nearby and had a note saying, "I love you, Diana." Wow. Now, of course, like we were saying, the obvious suspect is Mike. And 4 months before the killing of Diana, in the same woods, 2 other people were found killed with a tube sock around their neck. But guess fucking what? Mike's skull was found in those same woods about a year later. The killer could just still be out there at large. These are the scary things about unsolved cases, man. The killer could just be chilling on a couch, have a wife and family, and
It can be you.
Ever be. On August 25th, 1973, Joanne Ratcliffe and Curse Gordon went missing while attending a football game in the Adelaide Oval. Definitely pronouncing that
The
wrong,
hell is that?
Yep, you guys know what I'm talking about. Their case was so bad and so terrifying, it became the best and well-known case in all of Australian history. Now, at the game, Joanne and Curse were seen multiple times before and after the game ended. Once when trying to find a stray cat, once playing with other children, and another one of Curse and Joanne both being carried by a strange man, but no one really batted an eye, just thinking like it was their dad and he was just carrying them. After this, these 2 were never seen again. The person of interest was someone known as Arthur Stanley Brown. Now, the woman who like came out and say, "I saw this man carrying these 2 girls," came out 25 years later saying that was the same man she saw, and he was on TV 25 years later. So it had to have been him, right? Well, nope, not because of the legal system, it wasn't. So that guy was never really arrested, identified. No one just really, it was so sad, like no one really cared at that point. But there was another suspect that wasn't that man, and this suspect's name, or his name, is Frank. And the reason I do this is because no one thinks that's his real name. He would go to these girls' football games, which is soccer for you Americans, and he would practice all the routines the girls did, when they would leave, when they would go on court, when they weren't. What a fucking weirdo. No one said anything? What? Oh, yeah, and he was there during the disappearance of the 2 girls, and while the search party happened at the football fields, he just sat there and just watched and didn't do nothing. So now there could be 2 people involved in this. But like in every other case we're going to be talking about, he was never found. Now here's the last one. The last one you guys have been waiting for. The fucking plot twist of a story. Wait until you hear this. In 1918, a man had killed 12 people. These people were all killed with an axe in New Orleans, and it was always by the axes they owned. So this guy would go break into their shed, steal an axe, and kill them, and that dubbed him the name the Axe Killer of New Orleans. Now, are you ready for this plot twist? The reason for the killings that many people think is because he was trying to promote jazz music. Yep. On March 13th, 1919, he sent a letter to the newspaper company saying that he would kill again 15 minutes after midnight, but he would spare the people who were playing jazz music. What? That night, all of New Orleans were filled with bars and clubs and parties that were all playing jazz music, and nobody was murdered. So jazz music saved everyone's
Is that what they're
life.
known
That's
for,
the
jazz?
I've never heard of this, and that is the most insane and ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Now, the largest known suspect was Joseph Mumford.
Oh wait, that's
He was shot
Utah.
by the widow of Mike Pepitone, the last victim of the New Orleans axe killer. But other than that, we really have no leads, and we could never question the guy because he was dead. And that is the end of part 1 of the Unsolved Mystery Iceberg. So you guys know what time it is.
Part 2?
Announcement time!
Nope. Is that part 2? Why?
So today, I was going to post the Unsolved Mystery and Serial Killer Iceberg Part 2, and we were also going to do a Part 3, which I mentioned in the first part. It was supposed to be like a whole 3-part series, and I thought it was going to be enjoyable, and it was going to be fun, right? Now, I know people are like, yo, why the fuck do you think, like, serial killers and people dying are fun? That's not what I'm saying, okay? You guys know on my channel, I enjoy taking things very lightheartedly. We talk about a lot of dark things and scary things and conspiracies, but it's to be taken with a grain of salt. I like entertaining you guys. I like adding my own little twist onto the channel where I could just be funny and make jokes and just say the stupidest fucking things. It'll just, I don't know, it'll just be entertaining for me and for you. That's the whole reason, like, I started, like, I came back from a 5-month break because I found what I wanted to do. But this video was just, when I tell you, like, when Iceberg's, the deeper you go, the darker it gets. This video was probably the darkest video I would have ever fucking made, and I just couldn't see myself making jokes about it and just continuing on. Like, I just didn't talk about some traumatic things. The last thing I talked about.
Okay. All right, buddy. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna try to do more shit. Actually, I might do 2 hours. Are you crazy? I'm not doing that. But if y'all enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Podcast in the description, and we